Well, the Aurora movie theater mass murderer was found guilty, and we're just waiting for sentences for him. And then, of course, the most recent theater shooter down in Louisiana is going to be arraigned today and so forth. And when you look back at all the mass murders, like Virginia State and all these kinds of things, these people have been under the care of a psychologist or a psychiatrist for years and years and years and years and years. It's not like they just suddenly came out of the woodwork. And you never get to hear an interview from their psychologist or psychiatrist, okay? And I kind of looked into this. Well, it turns out every one of these people, really 2 years or so before they went on the rampage, should have been institutionalized, but the psychologist and the psychiatrist doesn't want to give up the weekly check. And so they, I'll just double the dose on this drug. Well, I'll add this drug. Many of these people are taking 3, 4, 5, 6 different drugs. The doses are very high. And when you read the actual side effects of these drugs in the PDR, the physician's desk reference, any one of them increases the suicide risk. Okay? Now, when you look at things like depression, manic depression, bipolar disease, this is what you call these diseases when people are in civilian clothes. When they're in military clothes, military uniforms, instead of bipolar, manic depression, or depression, it's called Ptsd. Okay? And same disease, just the ones when you're in uniform, PTSD, and when you're in civilian clothes, it's depression, manic depression, bipolar disease, okay? And then you get, of course, schizophrenia and psychoses and ADD, ADHD, autism. All of these diseases are just nutritional deficiencies of the brain. These poor young women and men coming back from the war zones, they haven't had any vitamins and minerals for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on how many tours they did in the war zone. The government doesn't provide vitamins and minerals. They're feeding them canned food, dried food, very little fresh stuff, and it's being prepared badly, fried, and so forth. And so they come back, their brains are nutritionally deficient. They come back and they're drinking alcohol, they're doing drugs and all this kind of stuff, plus the prescription drugs, okay? And they go wacko as a side effect of the prescription drugs. And so what I would have you do is get a hold of the books and the CD and the DVD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, the series, right, the book, the DVD and the CD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And then my newest ones, which are kind of an updates on that series, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie series, is the book Epigenetics, The Death of Genetic Disease Transmission, and then the DVD, Somebody Needs to Go to Jail, and the CD, Public Enemy Number 1. All of these educational tools will teach you what to do. And what I would do if you have anybody that you love who's in the military or who has emotional problems, you can't cold turkey them off their medication. That has to be done slowly by the people who wrote the prescriptions. But I'd get them on the 90 essential nutrients. I'd get them on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. And I deal with people with a lot of emotional and brain problems. And so both military and civilian personnel. And so you get them on the 90 essential nutrients, get them on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, get them on the de-stress capsules, which deal with the metabolism of the brain. And then you get them on the Smart FX capsules, which have to do with providing raw materials for the brain to make neurotransmitters, for socialization properly, as well as for dealing with things like dementias, of course, and ADD, ADHD, autism, all the dementias, and so forth. And get them away from the bad foods. Absolutely no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten. Get them off of anything that produces trans fatty acids, heterocyclic amines, or acrylamides, is going to cause free radical damage to the brain. And you'll see an elimination of these problems. It's just that simple. We haven't taken care of these military personnel well. And, when they come home, we have all these wonderful groups that try to help our military personnel. They take them out to horse farms where they can hug a horse or learn how to horseback ride, and they learn how to canoe, and they get in bike rides, and they have group therapies and all this kind of stuff. But how many of the 90 essential nutrients are in talk therapy? How many of the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids, are they going to get by walking together to raise money for more talk therapy? The reason why the problem is ongoing, on and on and on and on, nobody's dealing with the basic root problem, which is malnutrition of the brain. The brain requires nutrients to utilize energy properly. The brain requires nutrients to maintain itself. The brain requires cholesterol to maintain its myelin, the insulation material in the white matter of the brain. It makes up 75% of the brain weight is myelin, the white matter of the brain, and it's 100% cholesterol. And so everything we're doing to these young kids, both men and women, coming back from the military in war zones, is driving them to become mass murderers, okay? Not because of an emotional problem, but because of a nutritional deficiency of the brain. Contact your activity associate. Get the Dead Doctors Don't Lie series. Get epigenetics. Somebody needs to go to jail. And public enemy number one.